Welcome to the Week 18. My goodness, that's strange to say. NFL Picks segment on the Athletic Football Show. I'm Robert Mays. Joining me today, my good friends Sheil, Kapadia, and Nate Tice. Nate, it's coming off the rails for you, buddy. 0-3 last week when you need to make up some ground. Walk some people through the saddest moments of your betting experience last week.
Well, I've already compared it to my dad's old Vikings teams that we fell apart at the end of the season. So we've already hit that point where this is my Nate Poole touchdown against in week 17 in Arizona, which I was there in the end zone, by the way, in 8th row, give or take. Yeah, but that's been ingrained in my brain. That's all I can see with this. I think I would say the Cowboys game, I was like, okay, they're going to tie it up with a field goal. They're the better team. Okay. And then we'll go to overtime to get a touchdown. I had them at 5.5. So the touchdown's good. We're good there. No, they're going to lose by 3. Just losing straight up. The Chiefs, I know I'm just going to bogart this whole segment.
Oh, just run through it. I want to feel the pain.
The Chiefs Bengals, when the Chiefs are up double digits, and I'm like, oh baby, this is looking great. And oh man, if you want to know why I was yelling at the refs, it wasn't that I hate you guys, but hate the Bengals or anything like that. It was just because of this segment right here. It's just going like, are you kidding? It's the same side judge making the horse collar call and the pass interference call on the same drive. That's what gambling does. Is I'm going to start looking up what side judges, like what their names are. I know what these ref rules are.
You sent it to me yesterday, a couple of days ago. The win probability added for the Chiefs or for the Bengals in that game was like 60%. Penalties gave them a 60% edge in win probability.
Every team that I bet against, your fans should be very happy that the Tice curse. They should know once Tice's hit January, it all comes apart.
So you went 0-3 last week.
Yeah, long story short.
You went 0-3 last week. Sheil managed to go 1-2, but get his lock wrong, so he got 0 on the week. Nate, you now have to donate to a charity of your choice that is related in some way to the Cowboys or the Cardinals. Folks, if you are from those areas and you have some worthy causes that you would like to suggest for Nate, please do. Yes. Sheil, you didn't lose any ground this week thanks to getting a 0, but you did lose your lock. Who was your lock?
Yeah, I had the Bucks over the Jets there. So anybody who has a good, worthy Jets charity, I will, hit me up and I will be happy to donate. Yeah, that one didn't go so well. I mean, they were what was it? 13.5, 14.5, and they needed that final drive just to win the game. So that one, and it wasn't really fluky. I mean, really, it wasn't like I got burned by a play here or a play there. So I didn't feel great about that one.
So you are up 6 points heading into Week 18 here. We are going to do this through the playoffs. So, Nate, you still have some time, but it is slowly starting to run out on you here, buddy. Sheil, why don't you give us your first pick for Week 18 here?
Now, what do we think for the playoffs? We'll do we'll each do.
Oh, I think we should pick every game. Let's pick every game
for the playoffs.
Are we Robert in it?
Beautiful.
Pick every game. Right. It's the playoffs. Might as well.
The 11-0 dream. Perfect. All right. So, I just have to make sure my game theory is right here and not do anything stupid. I want to know what we're doing.
You have to pick first, though. That's the fun part.
I have to pick first. I have not decided. All right. I think they're going to be my lock. I'm going to save them for later.
A couple pros right now.
Yeah. This is not my lock, but I'm going to go with steal a page out of the Nate Tice playbook. Maybe try to get in his head and take the Minnesota Vikings minus 5.5. You're saying, Sheil, that game has no playoff implications. Both coaches could get fired.
That is what I'm on right now.
What the F are you possibly thinking here? But I can explain this. I have great reasons for my picks. They don't always work out, but there's always a reason. What could be more perfect than Kirk Cousins in his last game for Mike Zimmer with nothing on the line, throwing for like 450, 4 touchdowns, just carving them up, padding some stats maybe in garbage time where you look at the end of the season and you go, oh my gosh, Kirk Cousins lit it up. How did that team not make the playoffs? I mean, that's really the only way that this can play out. And so 5.5, I wish it was a little lower. I think it was 3.5, 4.5 when I wrote my column. So it's gone up a little bit, but that's okay. I think the Vikings offense will light it up here. They will win a meaningless game, and it will be kind of the perfect capper to the Cousins-Zimmer era in Minnesota.
Do we know who the Bears quarterback is in this game?
Because Fields
is on the COVID list. So does that mean it's Nick Foles?
Oh man, I feel even better about that for the.
Well,
Vikings.
It was Dalton, right? Is Dalton out?
At this
know.
point,
It was
I'm
Dalton
honestly not
last
sure.
week, right? So I would assume it would be Dalton.
We're looking at Robert like,
yeah.
what is it, Robert?
I don't know. I mean, really, how much preparation do you expect me to put into this segment? Look up with a Bears quarterback. This is all about the fight. You know, when the team says it's all about us, we don't care who we're. Yeah, that's what this is about. We'll play them in the parking lot. That's the speech that Mike Zimmer or Kirk Cousins is going to deliver Saturday night for this.
If you guys can just gauge how interested I am in the end of this Bears season, that's where we are right now. I am so done. Sim to end is all I care about. I did find it funny today that Justin Jefferson was saying that we should be in the playoffs, like we should be one of the best teams. It's like, you should be in the playoffs, Justin. You are correct. You
That's
should
right.
be in the playoffs.
What a
You deserve
season.
to be there.
Eric Kendricks,
But
and Harrison.
overall, we need a little bit of a reset here. All right, Nate, what do you got for me? What's your first one?
Yeah, I went away. I had a moment where I wanted to go back to week 1, what my angles were, and then I was like, well, I didn't do great at the beginning of the season either. I guess I'm a middle end season. I'm after the bye week team.
You
I
really got to
realized.
tap into that week 12 energy.
Yeah, I know. I got to figure out what I was doing in December. Maybe I was just so stressed out, and so I was like, I got to actually hit some of these. So I got cocky. Having said that, I'm going to go with another maybe head coach, quarterback, potential divorce here, because I guess that's going to be our angle this week. I'm going with the Seahawks plus 6.5 at the Cardinals. And this is taking the points, taking a Seahawks team that's really been pretty unlucky with some of their stuff. Like, they're not as bad as maybe I thought when I've been rewatching their stuff. They've kind of tapped back into what the Russell Wilson offense is. Doesn't matter who the offense coordinator is. It's been the same since my senior year of college. It's the same offense. That's what works best for Russell. Play action shots, a DK Metcalf, mirrored concepts, running the ball. And I think they rekindled what that formula was. Russell, of course, being healthy. He again mentioned, this is why I have a no trade clause at a press conference. Russ just asked for a trade. If you're going to do it like this, do like how he's messaging the trade stuff. It's been very funny how he's doing that, but I think it's the same thing. They want to go out on a high note. I think this Cardinals team, I was rewatching that Cowboys-Cardinals game. Wanted to bet the Cowboys again, but I did not. I almost went with my original angle of betting against the Eagles. We saw how far that got me in this season. So I'm going with going against the Cardinals because rewatching that game, they had a lot of busts. I think the Seahawks team is going to be able to do that. They're running the ball. They're hitting the play action shots. If the Cardinals want to bring all those pressures and everything, it's Russ. Russ can create a little bit still, even if he's not what he used to be. So I think they can punish him in that regard. Taking the points, think it's going to be a little tighter than the 6.5 point line. So Seahawks plus 6.5. Can't wait to regret this one.
Week 18 betting, man. I mean, because you're looking at it, the Cardinals have an incentive to win this game.
Yeah.
Because if they win and the Rams lose, the Cardinals win the division. They host a playoff game.
Which matters.
So
yes.
there is a real reason for them to play and win this. The Seahawks, I guess pride is the reason. I don't really tap into stuff like that. You have a team very much nearing the end of a miserable year, and you have a Cardinals team that really wants to win this game. You are a brave man, sir. I just
got my Seahawks sweatshirt or Seattle Mariners sweatshirt on. We're repping Seattle today. Let's do it.
Oh my God! I mean, because that's what you have to do in Week 18, right? You have to think about motivations and which teams are going to be engaged. Why would they be? So many different factors. I do not envy either of you. With that in mind, Sheil, what's your second one?
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. That's a perfect segue. I haven't told you my pick, but one of my routines for this is like, which team is most likely to do the 1, 2, 3 Cancun before the kickoff? And I gotta think that, and I gotta think the New York Football Giants. I mean, have to be.
They did it 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean they did it a month.
There
ago.
are no golf clubs by guys' lockers, though. Just to be clear.
Oh no!
What a
no
salesman.
golf clubs.
My gosh, he's in the wrong industry, Joe Judge. Unbelievable. What a salesman with that speech. So
would you think he's from Philly, by the way, with that accent?
Well, that's what I said. When I read his comments, I'm like, oh, come on, this guy's terrible. What is he doing? But then I heard the press conference, and I was like, if the rest of us can make fun of Brian Kelly, Joe Judge is also allowed to make fun of Brian Kelly. Why is everyone being so harsh about it? So yeah, that kind of moved him towards the. I don't know what that accent. What coaches with accents? What a great way to cap off 2021. But anyway, I'm going to go against Joe Judge and that accent, which is not, I think it's Montgomery County in Philadelphia, which is 20 minutes down the road here. People do not talk like that. And I'm going to take the Washington football team. It got up to -7. I wish it was still -6.5, and I got that extra half point. But this Giants team been outscored by 92 points during their current 5-game losing streak. Last 5 years, team with the fewest wins in the NFL. Giants are tied with the Jets for that. Like, we need to stop talking about this organization, a classy organization. Like, no, this has been 5 years where they have been terrible.
Sheil, you're not in the building, all right? You don't know how much progress they've made. And things are really pointed in the right direction.
Calling them?
You don't know. You don't know the amount of calls that Joe Judge gets from people on other teams right now.
That's the thing. I'm not even sure. Like, the Giants might not even have a coach, because I would expect the top 20, 25 free agents, he might have to be on the horn with them inside when the game kicks off. So, I mean, there's all sorts of things working in my favor here. Washington was competitive last week against the Eagles. I thought their defensive line was really impressive, and that's like the biggest mismatch on paper here. Jonathan Allen, Daron Payne against that New York Giants offensive line, which it feels like has been terrible for 25 years or something at this point. So, I fully expect the Washington to win this. Joe Judge to go on another rant. Maybe he points to like a punt they had downed inside the 20 in the third quarter as a reason why everything's trending in the right direction. And
when it was 4th and 3 from the 50-yard line,
from the 48,
exactly. So I don't know what I'm doing. You probably should not be betting on a game like this, but it kind of goes to my angle that I'm gonna have to ditch this angle for the playoffs. But if you can bet against the Urban Meyer coach team, a Joe Judge, I mean, there's some of you can take an L. If you lose, you lose. You still feel like you had the pick nailed. So that's kind of my theory here.
All right,
that's
Nate.
not my lock, by the way.
Nate, what do you got for me? What's your second one?
I love betting on those who needs stats bowls. That's what it is. Who has contract incentives? That's maybe the angle we should go for.
Good
Oh
one.
man, he needs 82 yards to get $500,000. Okay, that's what you really bet on. Actually, Joe Judge wouldn't care because they're going,
Yeah, you could go the other way. It's like,
Yeah.
he's not touching the ball today.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I'm actually going with a game that actually means something. So not because rather than make every game exciting by gambling on the ones that don't count, let's gamble on the one that does count, because that always works out for me as well. I'm going to go with the Rams -4.5 hosting the 49ers. And really, this is great because this is one of the few times that we've done this segment after we already recorded, Robert. So actually,
we actually did it today.
So continuity is great here. I don't have to have like a person fact checking me going like, oh, didn't you say that earlier? Okay, but the Rams, I just think this is a great matchup for them. Really, even as much as I like Trey Lance, it is still a rookie quarterback. You don't know if he's starting, that's volatile. You also have Jimmy G. If he's starting, he has the torn ligament in his hand. Also scary. I think this Rams team, the offense again has to withstand the Stafford dummy plays, but it's still a pretty good freaking offense. Like they are. It's just, I think we expected the world out of them, and the fact that they're just good to very good. It's like, oh wow, they're 12-4 right now. This Rams team. You would think they're 9-7 going into Week 18. How we talk about them. Maybe it's just like I said. I had high expectations for them. They still have a great defensive front. Guys that can get after. Aaron Donald, still Aaron Donald. Von Miller, still Von Miller. He's really coming to his own, especially on the run defense, which I think is going to be a big. That's when he was first there. It took a while, I feel like, to get him going, like to figure out exactly how to utilize him. I think it's like he's starting to show up a little bit. So I'm going to just take the Rams -4.5. Both these teams have something to play for. I think it's going to be a great game. But I really just think this Rams team is going to try and make a statement because they have something to win. Like they want to win this game. Just
same
like
thing we said about the Cardinals, right?
Yep.
I mean, they have a huge incentive to win this game because
Correct.
to host a playoff game, that's a big leg up over having to go on the road. I mean, even if it doesn't seem like a huge difference with only one team having the bye. All right, Sheil. Your lock, buddy. Lay it
well,
on
you know
me.
what?
What
If I wanted to apply some game theory, I think I would switch my pick here. But you know what? It's Week 18. We want fireworks. My lock, I'm taking the other side of that game.
Yes,
I'm taking
yes.
the
Love it.
49ers +4.5. You're right, Nate. I mean, I feel like I've been ripping this Rams team, and then you look, I mean, even the advanced stats, the EPA per drive, Stafford's numbers, you're like, they're like top, 5, 6, 7 and everything. But I can't hide what my eyes tell me, and especially this year, in a year where it's like a lot of the stats I feel like are wonky. You don't know who played what week, and I just don't trust that team. I mean, 2019 comes down to the wire last week against that Ravens team. They've got Stafford's turned the ball over 6 times in the last 2 weeks. Now, maybe there's some flukiness to that. That's fine. But I kind of feel like if you're the 49ers, I mean, you've got some playmakers on defense. You're not great at cornerback, but you've got some dudes there in the front 7 where you can, potentially force a Matthew Stafford turnover there. Kyle Shanahan's beaten McVay 5 times in a row, I think. And I don't know who's starting at quarterback, so it's probably a stupid one to take here. I think Garoppolo.
It's probably pretty telling, though, right? That you're comfortable doing this without knowing who's starting at quarterback.
Yeah, I'm kind of trusting in the play caller here that he'll sort of figure it out based on whichever guy. Really, I just feel like this has the feel of a tight, close field goal game. Now that could end up being a touchdown game and I lose it. But talk about having something to play for, 49ers stuff to win to get in here. If they lose here and the Saints win, they're not in the playoffs. And so they're as motivated, if not more motivated than the Rams should be in this situation. And so I'm just kind of putting the faith in their, blue chip players, the Kittles, the Debos, the Fred Warners, the Bosas, the Armsteads. You should be able to keep this game competitive and give yourself a chance to win regardless who's playing quarterback. So we'll be invested in this game. So this could be what I would lose one, you would win one. So you would pick up 2 just on this game potentially if the Rams cover the 4.5. So
and then you wouldn't get your lock, and he potentially could. So that's another. That's
correct.
A ton more, lot more points sitting there on the table.
Right on the board, baby.
This is the Nate Sounds Smart Bowl, because it's either my pick comes in or the first segment that Robert and I did talk about Shanahan's advantage that we always have against the Rams. Sounds smart. So here we go.
Win-win. I love the win-win.
One thing I'd look at in this game, if you look at what the Rams have really had to lean on over the last month or so, what Sony Michel has given them and just how they've been able to function with the ground game has been huge. It's kind of been a rock for them
just steady.
As they've had to worry about what Stafford is. Niners run defense is really good. That is the best thing they do on that side of the ball. They've been really good in the front seven this year, stopping teams on the ground. And if the Rams don't have that, and you suddenly take away that kind of security blanket little pillow that they've had over the last month or so as Stafford struggled, we'll see what that ends up looking like. All right.
I already hate my bet.
Yeah, what you just said with the take thing, it's so funny because you're probably the only one I could commiserate with about this, because last week I'm watching Cowboys Cardinals and I'm going, well, I picked the Cowboys in my column. I would like to be above 500 this week. But on the other hand, Nate picked the Cowboys and he's got 3. All right, it's kind of a win. All right, Cardinals won. That's okay.
I was the number one Gang Green fan on Sunday. Me and Fireman Ed, baby. Fireman Ed, that was me. I was Fireman Nate. I was leading the charge. JETS.
Too many rooting interests.
Yes, exactly. It's like having 8 fantasy teams.
Nate, what do you got for me, buddy? What's your last one?
Okay, so my lukewarm lock. Talk about teams, something to play for, but this is going to be my lukewarm lock. I'm going to go with the Patriots minus 6.5 at the Dolphins. I think Bill Belichick remembers week 1. This is a guy that we talk about, this team's going to rest this guy. This team's going to rest guy. Bill Belichick doesn't care. He still has padded practices on Wednesday. This guy is going to come into this week, and
they have incentive. If they win and the Bills lose, they still win the division.
And they know who I picked for NFC East winner or AFC East winner. They know who I bet on at the beginning of the year. They knew my future. They know what's at stake exactly. But I just think this Patriots team, even if the offense is kind of, I wouldn't say hit a wall or anything like that, maybe hit some limitations of what they have. I think this is one team that's prepped for what the Dolphins want to do to them with the pressures, with the 6-1 fronts, all the type of stuff. And they also have great tape from last week against the Titans about what another way to kind of attack them, because they use similar formations that the Titans do. I also just think on the flip side that this Patriots defense is made to go against what the Dolphins want to do. Playing man, playing soft zone, or playing the high cover 2 stuff on second and long, and just pushing that pocket on Tua and making Tua have to make throws over the middle. I think that this is a team that's real. They're going to do that one double coverage, and they're going to go on Jalen Waddle. I made the joke that it's the Waddle ratio instead of the Randy ratio. I don't know how else to put it. The Waddle ratio with the W. We've hit this point, people. But I think that's what Belichick does. He figures out what your number one target is, doubles him, and then he plays J.C. Jackson on the other guy. And it's for this, it would be whoever they want to put it on, Gesicki, whatever. But it's that's exactly what's going to happen. I could see that unfolding, that RPO game, the fun stuff. Belichick thrives on destroying that stuff, rallying top, bottom. I don't like it at minus 6.5. If you're a gimmicky offense,
the gimmick tends to disappear when you play against this team on defense.
It's the worst defense to go against because they're going to be dialed in on what you do. So 6.5 was a little rich. Preferred it 4.5, 5 maybe, but I'm going to take it. It's under a touchdown. I know it's at Miami. It's not going to be a weather thing. Mac Jones is going to throw the ball more than 3 times. So this is my lukewarm lock. I'm betting on Bill Belichick and betting on the advantage that they have going against his former mentee in Brian Flores.
Yeah, I'm really interested in the other side of that game, because my question with the Patriots has been like, I know they made all these moves in free agency, but like, look at who Mac Jones is throwing to in the, like, when you're facing a team that can just line up and play man coverage, or those guys, I like a Kendrick Bourne. Nate, listen, I know you've been driving that's like your brand now. I mean, I just see random Kendrick Bourne tweets just tagging Nate all over my timeline, and he's a good player, but I look at that whole group and it's like, are they going to be able to give Mac Jones enough opportunities in the passing game? Now, what you said is true. It might not matter because the Patriots might just get a defensive touchdown and the Dolphins
and run the ball 40 times.
Anything. Yeah. So it might be a low scoring.
Might be a Hunter Henry game.
But it's kind of like a sneaky, interesting thing I want to watch as we look ahead to the playoffs. Is how does that passing game look against this Dolphins defense? So it's kind of another fun thing to watch in that game.
Biggest looming question about New England is what their pass catching options might look like, and just those moments, high leverage moments, and what Mac Jones looks like. As we kind of dig into those conversations, which we'll have a lot of here over the next week. Is where are weaknesses? What are going to hold teams back? Why could they win a playoff game? And I think that's the biggest one with New England. Who's going to get open when it matters? Who's going to make a play when it matters? All right, guys. That's all we got. That's all we got for this week's pick segment. Sincerely appreciate you guys sticking around for this. Again, we will be back all throughout the playoffs. Hopefully it gets a little bit closer, Nate. Hopefully you squeeze the gap here a little bit. So
I think so. I think it's going to be tight going into the postseason.
Listen,
I don't know. After I said Rams, I was like, oh,
big
God.
Potential week with those locks. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We'll talk to you soon.